Hey guys, I'm AfroGeek PlusUltraNappy and welcome back to a brand new anime review. So in today's anime review, I'm going to be reviewing an anime series that was probably one of the best slice of life anime series I've ever watched in my entire span of watching anime. It's very triggering for those who go through suicidal tendencies and have suicidal thoughts, or at least made attempts. Like you just saw in the beginning of the video, I probably would hold off watching this series, but if you are okay to where you can watch shows or movies or anime where they discuss this topic, I definitely would highly recommend watching this series. It made me tear up and it made me laugh. Like I just said, it's one of the best slice of life anime series I've ever seen in my life. And that series I am talking to you guys about is Orange. Now, Orange falls, like I said, under the genre of slice of life. So the manga series was written by Ichigo Takano, and it was licensed through Crunchyroll, and its original run was from July 3rd, 2016 to September 25th, 2016. And it has a total of 13 episodes. It has an anime film called Orange Future, and it has a live action adaptation of the anime series. It's very popular, very popular. It even has 2 different manga series, and it has a novel version. So, gosh, such a good series. And I honestly think this series is so underrated, and I'm sure a lot of people know about it. I found about it through numerous coworkers of mine from work like a couple years ago. I read one of the volumes of the manga. There's only a small amount of volumes because they're like really thick, like manga books. It was so good that I went and I just bought it myself. It's really good. It's very affordable if you're trying to buy it on Blu-ray and DVD. It's like $20 on Amazon. Highly would recommend watching it. But if you don't want to buy it, you can stream it on Funimation and Crunchyroll if you have either or account. Before we move on into the summary of the anime series, let's discuss the voice cast. Now, I just want to apologize in advance if I butcher any names, and in past anime reviews, especially from my high school The Dead one, if I laugh while pronouncing some of these names and I like poke fun at these names, I'm not doing it to be spiteful or mean. It's just I think it's personally funny that I have problems pronouncing names. Not to mention I have a bit of a speech problem too. It's something I've always battled since I was in elementary school, and I just am a terrible reader. So sometimes I butcher the hell out of names. You know, everybody got to be proud of their last name. That's who they are, and that's who they're gonna be to the day they die. Let's just get into the voice cast. So we got Jill Harris as Naho. We got Micah Solusod, it's spelled Solusod, as Kaharu. You got Jason Laberchit as Hitaro. You got Sarah Wiedenheft, it's spelled Widenheft, as Zazu. You got Jenny Tirado as Takako Chino. You got Dave Trosco as Saku. So like I just said, I definitely butchered a good amount of those names. Like I mentioned, I apologize. I can't help it. I'm just a bad reader. Don't unsubscribe. Don't sue me. Let me give you just a brief summary of what the series is about. So essentially the series is about a second-year high school student named Naho who receives a letter from herself from 10 years in the future warning her to befriend someone named Kakeru. Basically, Kakeru in their time period ends up committing suicide, and basically she wants to keep her from doing so because the two liked each other and he was a part of their friend group, and they just had like a really big falling out leading up to the night he committed suicide. And she just basically just gives her letters, just guiding her to make sure Kakeru stays alive and well in her time period. She's thinking maybe somewhere in a parallel universe her past self will get these letters, and along with her friends, they also receive letters from their future selves giving them clear instructions on what to do by befriending Kakeru, making sure he does this, making sure he doesn't do this, making sure not to bring up this topic, just to make sure he does everything. So like I said, a very touchy subject, and it's really hard because me personally, I also in the past have suffered from suicidal thoughts. When I said that, I'm not saying it to pity me. I'm saying that because it's a really hard topic for some people to discuss, and sometimes that things really can trigger past memories. That's why I gave that warning, like I said, in the future and the beginning of the video. So as time goes on, Naho is kind of like, okay, I don't really believe it, but once the stuff from the letters start coming true, she really starts taking things into action and really trying to make sure that everything goes according to how it should have been. So instead of giving an episode by episode synopsis, I'm just going to give like a quick summary just of the whole series as the video goes on to kind of save a little bit of time, let alone to try a new different format out. So let me know what you guys think, if you enjoyed it, and let's just get on. So when the letter asked her not to invite Kakeru to go out for the first day, Naho and her friends do anyway. They decide just to invite him anyway, and Kakeru ends up not attending school for the next 2 weeks. To prevent another mistake, Naho resolves to do what the letters tell her to do in order just to make sure that nothing happens to him, such as volunteering on a softball round, encouraging Kakeru to join the soccer team, objecting him to pursue a relationship with upperclassmen, which, by the way, I fucking hate that bitch. She was so mean, and I am so glad that the two of them broke things off. I could not stand her ass. She was trying to get in the way of him and Naho getting in a relationship so much throughout this series, and I hated it. She keeps him from pursuing a relationship with an upperclassman, instead insists that they watch the fireworks together alone. So Naho learns from the letters that in the future, Kakeru is dead, having died by suicide around Valentine's Day, around the same year in which he enrolled at their school. So during the Bond Festival, which is like a little bit down the line in the anime, during the Bond Festival, Kakeru explains to Naho the reason for his absence during like the beginning of school was his mother died by suicide because of her mental breakdown caused by him leaving her alone to hang out with his friends and not taking her to the hospital as he promised. This causes Naho to also feel guilty and for her to feel some sort of responsibility for the death of his mother. And so as time passes on, the others in the group have learned that they have been getting letters from their future selves saying to befriend and protect Kakeru at all costs and letting them know about his suicide. So in the anime, you go back and forth from yourselves in the future and then you go to the present time. So it kind of sometimes time skips back and forth, but it doesn't do it like abruptly or just randomly. It does it within a sequence that's fitting and that makes sense. In the future, they discuss things and they say, well, we weren't able to change anything when we should have, but hopefully maybe in a parallel universe, their younger selves will get these letters and Kakeru will be able to stay alive. So Suwa ends up getting information in a letter stating that him and Naho ended up getting married and they have a child together, but he decides to sacrifice that future with Naho in order to save Kakeru, knowing that Kakeru and Naho like each other. You gotta give Suwa credit for it. Like, that takes some major balls to know that you and Naho, like a good friend of yours, get together and have a kid. Just living with that burden that you literally sacrificed in a way your child and your marriage to save a good friend takes a lot of guts and a lot of balls. And that's why I respect Suwa for that. Because as I was watching the series, I legit thought he wasn't gonna go through with that and he was gonna try and make a move on Naho. But throughout the whole thing, he kept encouraging Kakeru to go out with Naho and just pursue a relationship with her. Even though when he was like hesitant at times, he was like, nah, dude, you gotta do it. Like, don't think about it. Just do it. I know you like her. That is a true friend right there. And that's why I respect that man in that anime. Some things happen, and to try and cheer him up, they organize a celebration for his 17th birthday in which Kakeru confesses his feelings to Naho. So the 5 friends also join the relay race to kind of help Kakeru out. He ends up winning the race due from the encouragement from his friends. And after winning the race and receiving a reward, Kakeru kisses Naho. However, on New Year's Eve, Naho and Kakeru argue over his grandma's health. Now, granted, in an anime series, you should never, ever, and even in real life, if you're trying to pursue a relationship with someone, let alone if you are in a relationship with someone, if you have a relative that is ill, you should never try and start an argument over that situation, no matter what's going on, no matter who it is, because that's family. So the two become distant over the following weeks after that argument, up until the day that Kakeru is supposed to commit suicide. If I can remember what triggers that, is he decides to go through a box of his mom's stuff, because he moved in, I think, with his grandmother after his mom passed away. He moved in with his grandmother, and there was like a box that he kept of his mom's stuff, and he went through her phone the night he was gonna take his life and saw the last text message she sent to him, or all the text messages and missed calls. So on the night of Kakeru's death, his friends planned to meet up and try and stop it from happening, but for some reason, when they notice that he's not there on time, they realize something is off. So everybody starts to search for him, manage to stop him from getting hit by a truck, because that's how he passed away. He walked in front of an oncoming truck. Kakeru apologizes to Naho and all of his friends for trying to do that, but he chose not to himself, because he realized he would be leaving behind Naho, who he loves, and his friends who he has come to know and cherish. That, I'm telling you, that scene was so damn brutal and so hard to watch. And me and my girlfriend bawled our eyes out. And I'm not saying this in any comedic way. I'm not trying to make jokes about it. Like, that shit was so... That shit hit right here in my chest, in my heart. That was one of the most powerful scenes I've seen in anime. It's hard because I want to watch the series again. I really do, but I don't know if I can bring myself mentally to doing that. Like, it really hit home for both of us. And it's just, oh my gosh. I keep talking about that scene, I'm gonna end up tearing up. Like, it's that bad. Oh my gosh. So as time goes on, as the series ends, Kakeru and Naho end up becoming a couple, and they decide to take things slowly, not pushing things too fast, but just kind of take things slowly. And then they show a clip of them in the future, all digging up a little time capsule thing that they all buried when they were in school. They were looking through all the photos that they took together when they were in high school, and they go and stop by and visit Kakeru's grave, put flowers on there, and they just say their piece, and they just talk about how much they miss him, and they hope somewhere in another world he is alive and he is with his friends, in the end truly loved. And that, guys, wraps up the review for the anime series Orange. Like I mentioned, it was different from what I'm used to do, where I said episode by episode, but like I'm trying a new different style with it. So if you really fucked with it and if you enjoyed it, let me know down in the comments below. You don't have to, but the views will tell, and I guess if you liked it, you liked it. But guys, I'm telling you, if this is a subject that you cannot mentally handle, don't watch this series. But if this is something that you don't mind and you are a huge fan of slice of life anime, I highly would recommend watching this series. If I had to rate this series a 1 out of 10, I would give this probably, if not a 9.5 out of 10. But anyway, guys, that is it for the video. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe if you are brand new. We are trying to reach 100 subscribers by the end of 2020. If you want to connect with me more, hit up my links to the social media description below. And if you want to check out more content from me, hit up my main channel in the link in the description below. It's the Pokemon 1086 channel, where I do video games reviews and do video game topics. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. I am AfroGeek PlusUltraNappy. It just seemed too inappropriate if I were to just to do the regular outro after just reviewing the series. So like I said, I'm just gonna catch you guys in the next video. Goodbye.